You know how we do things here, right? Pile of sources, tons of info, and we got to find the good stuff.
The nuggets, the real gems.
Exactly. And today, we're taking a look at a mystery.
Oh, yeah, real head-scratcher.
Ray Gricar, a district attorney who just up and vanished back in 2005. And guess what? Still no answers.
It's almost 20 years later, and we're still asking, was it planned, was it an accident, or was there something more sinister going on?
I mean, think about it. Abandoned car, a messed up hard drive, and then there's the whole Jerry Sandusky thing lurking in the background.
So many pieces to this puzzle.
And that's exactly what we're going to try to do today, sort through all of it, see if we can figure out what might have happened to Ray Gricar.
It's going to be a challenge. There's a lot we don't know.
Let's start at the beginning then. Who was this guy? Ray Gricar, what's his story?
Okay, so Gricar, he was the district attorney over in Center County, Pennsylvania. Basically, the top law enforcement guy in the area. You know, the one who decides who to prosecute. And he had a reputation for being really good at it, dedicated, took his work seriously, all that.
So not the kind of guy you'd expect to just disappear off the face of the earth, right?
Right. And here's the thing. He was known for being a pretty private person, almost, reserved.
So that makes this whole thing even weirder.
Exactly. It's not like he was the type to just suddenly run off or do something crazy.
Okay, so let's talk about that day, April 15th, 2005. What happened? What do we actually know about what he did that day?
So what we know is he told his girlfriend he was going for a drive.
Seems normal enough.
Yeah, totally normal, except he never came back.
And then?
The next day, his car, a red Mini Cooper, gets found just sitting there near the Susquehanna River up in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania.
That's pretty far from home, right?
About an hour away, yeah.
So already something's not adding up.
And that's just the start. Because then there's his stuff. Wallet's missing, keys gone, laptop nowhere to be found, though. His cell phone, that was in the car.
But the laptop, that's the real mystery.
Oh, yeah. Months later, the hard drive from that laptop pops up. Guess where?
The river.
Yep. Susquehanna River. Totally trash. Couldn't get anything off of it.
Hang on a sec. A missing hard drive ends up in a river. That's not a coincidence, right?
And get this. They looked at his computer at home, and what did they find? Searches about how to destroy a hard drive.
Really?
Yeah. Not just general searches either. Specific stuff about water damage to a hard drive.
Sounds like someone was trying to hide something.
It definitely raises some red flags.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder what was so important, so incriminating, that someone would go to all this trouble to get rid of it.
Right. What could be that big of a deal?
Well, that leads us to probably the most interesting and maybe the most unsettling part of this whole case.
You're talking about the Jerry Sandusky connection.
That's the one.
Okay, for anyone who maybe doesn't remember or wasn't following it at the time, can we just give a quick recap of what went down with that whole scandal?
So, Jerry Sandusky, he was a big deal. Assistant football coach at Penn State University for years. And then in 2011, boom, charged and eventually convicted of a whole bunch of really awful stuff. Child sexual abuse.
Yeah, huge scandal. Shook up the whole university, actually went way beyond that. National news.
Absolutely national news. And guess what? Gricar was actually involved years before all this blew up.
Wait, really? How?
Okay, so rewind back to 1998. Gricar, as district attorney, he investigated some allegations against Sandusky.
Abuse allegation.
That's right. But in the end, he chose not to prosecute.
Hold on. So are we saying that maybe, just maybe, Gricar's disappearance years later could be tied to that decision?
It's a theory. A lot of people have considered it. Think about it. Could someone have wanted him gone to protect Sandusky? Or maybe even someone higher up at Penn State.
It's a chilling thought.
But we got to be careful here. Just because he decided not to prosecute doesn't automatically mean he thought Sandusky was innocent. It could have just been a matter of not having enough evidence at that time to make a solid case.
I see. So it's not a clear-cut thing.
Not at all. And we also have to think about the possibility that maybe, just maybe, Gricar's decision made some people angry. Someone who really believes Sandusky should have been prosecuted, they might have held a grudge.
So many layers to this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the different theories people have about what happened to Gricar. We've got suicide, homicide, and then the idea that he just disappeared on purpose. Where do we even begin to untangle all that?
All right, let's start with a suicide theory. No obvious signs of foul play, right? Plus, there's the whole hard drive situation. Destroyed, searches about how to destroy it. Some folks think that points to Gricar maybe being in a bad place mentally, choosing to end his own life.
Yeah, but would someone really go to all that trouble if they were planning to, drive an hour away, mess up their hard drive, stage the whole thing? Seems a bit much.
It's not impossible. Maybe there were things going on in his personal life that we don't know about. Maybe he felt trapped, wanted to just vanish, no trace. But it does make you think, if that was his plan, why even bother with the hard drive?
Yeah, that doesn't quite add up.
And that's why the homicide theory is still on the table. Think about it. Stuff missing, evidence wiped clean. That could point to someone wanting Gricar out of the picture permanently and making sure certain information never saw the light of day.
And that could tie back to Sandusky.
Yeah.
Right. Someone silencing him to protect themselves or others involved.
Exactly. But we can't just jump to conclusions. Homicide means proving someone did it. And so far, no evidence points to a specific person.
Okay, what about the last idea? Just took off, wanted a new life.
It's possible, but if you look at his personality, the guy was dedicated to his job, and he left everything behind.
Yeah.
It's not easy to just disappear. It takes a lot of planning, a lot of resources.
So many questions, so few answers. What was he even doing all the way out in Lewisburg? What was on that hard drive? And did his work as a DA have something to do with all of this?
We may never know for sure, but that's what makes this case so fascinating. Even with all the technology we have today, some mysteries just stay unsolved.
It's like a puzzle with half the pieces missing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really makes you wonder, what happened to Ray Gricar?
People want closure, but sometimes the most interesting mysteries are the ones that leave you with more questions than answers.
So what do you think happened?
I'm leaving that one with you. What do you think happened to Ray Gricar?